Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome to another Flex's View today, because Man United have made a club statement regarding Jim Ratcliffe's stupid comments in an interview with Sky. He's also put out some fake dead excuse of an apology. We'll talk about that as well. But let's talk about Man United. That's the main thing. That's the biggest thing we care about here. Manchester United's club statement and their ex-post says that Man United prides itself on being an inclusive and welcoming club. We will continue to represent our people, our city, and our fans with purpose and pride. And the statement goes on to say, our diverse group of players, staff, and global community of supporters reflect the history and heritage of Manchester, a city that anyone can call home. Since launching All Red, All Equal in 2016, we have embedded equality, diversity, and inclusion into everything we do. We remain deeply committed to the principles and spirit of that campaign. They are reflected in our policies, but also in our culture, and are reinforced by our holding of the Premier League's advanced equality, diversity, and inclusion standard. Over the course of this season, we have participated in events and initiatives at our men's and women's games, marking mental health, LGBTQ plus inclusion, no room for racism, violence against women and girls, and homophobic chanting. We have also celebrated our supporters clubs events, including our Disabled Supporters Association's Christmas party and our Jewish Supporters Club's Hanukkah event. Chanukah event. In the weeks and months ahead, we will be supporting further initiatives in these areas. This all sits alongside the incredible work with which the Manchester United Foundation undertakes in and around Manchester on a daily basis. Manchester United reflects the unity and resilience of all the communities we are so privileged to represent. We will continue to represent our people, our city, our fans with purpose and pride. That is what the communications department posted today at around 2 minutes past 4 p.m. UK time. Listen, here is the problem with what's happened now, because everything of what they've put in that statement is true. There are fantastic people that work at Man United that support all the initiatives they said, that stand for what we know our club to stand for. They uphold the values of Man United. That's our club. That's our identity. And if you've got a problem with that, don't support this football club. So all of that's true, and that's what I expect our club to do. That's what I was aware of what it does. The problem here is it's all good saying that, but what we have here is the complete opposite of being united. And I get why. Because we have an owner, minority owner, in Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who doesn't uphold these values, who doesn't stand for these traditions, who doesn't stand for these ethics. And Man United's media department has been quick to basically distance themselves from Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his comments. Now, they don't mention Sir Jim Ratcliffe in the statement at all. They don't apologise. Of course, they can't apologise on his behalf, but they don't, talk about what he said and how upset they are that it's deeply hurt people and offended people around the world. And listen, this is the problem, because he's 30% owner of the football club. He's the boss, essentially. He's making football decisions. So they're not going to out him publicly in a club statement. That would be naive of me to think that they will. But what they are doing is indirectly outing him by saying, that's what he's on, this is what we're on. It's us against him. It's we and them. And that's how I take that club statement. Okay? That's how I understand that to be. I know the hard work and the amazing people that work at our football club. I know some of them personally. I've seen some of them in passing. And you don't have to have been around the scenes or behind the scenes to understand that. The Manchester United Foundation, they do incredible work, unbelievable work with young people across the city, people around the world, different initiatives like just mentioned in the statement. And they do uphold the values of our club. And that's why this is just on the footballing side. If you're just keeping it to Man United and taking it away from the immigration stuff and using the word colonised and etc., which I get back to, just on being a Man United fan, remember that. And when I've seen some of your comments today, and when I say some of your comments, if you didn't make these type of comments, I'm obviously not talking to you. You know, like I say, this is an open forum. I don't have to agree with everything that is said in the comment section, but I do encourage it. It's a freedom of speech vibe, right? But this is what I've seen some people forget. Some people have come back at me with saying, "Oh, Sir Jim's right. Just because he put a few wrong numbers, it doesn't mean that he's not right." Like, shut up. Like, honestly, you are so far removed from the reality of what he said, or you just, like you say, you just agree with him that we will never agree on this. We will never see eye to eye on this. But if you support Man United, these are the things that should be important to you. All the things that were read out in that club statement. And I think that if you don't see that, you're basically not understanding what Sir Jim's saying is going against everything that the club stands for. Everything. That's not over sensationalism. I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. Literally, what Sir Jim says, even though he's trying to act like he said it in an economic capacity, because that's what he's been getting asked about, this, that, and the other. You are the co-owner of Manchester United Football Club, the biggest football club in the world, okay? Along with Real Madrid, etc., etc. One of the biggest institutions in the world. Not even just sporting institutions in the world. Your words carry weight. Your words come with responsibility. Your words are powerful. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe swans around like a rich English billionaire who don't give a toss about what anyone thinks. That's why he turns up to these interviews with hardly anyone with him, not briefed very well, and says what he wants, because it's from a position of power, entitlement, and that's what he actually thinks. It's not a mistake. He's not trying to open up this wider conversation, but he just slipped up and used the wrong word. This is what the guy thinks. Wake up and smell the coffee, guys. Again, I can't make you do that. This is my opinion. But this is my opinion. This is how he thinks. This is what he thinks. This is the guy that is representing our football club. And if you choose to have more of a grievance with him for sacking Ruben Amorim and not having a plan, if you choose to have more grievance with him for, things that he's done in the last couple of years, the Dan Ashworth thing and sacking Ten Hag and severance packages, that's fine. There's loads of different reasons to not particularly like Sir Jim Ratcliffe since he's come here. And I get that. But don't be blind to this, is what I'm saying. Don't be blind to it, because it's one thing, having a slip of the tongue, or I'm really deeply sorry that I've actually hurt so many people. What I meant to say was, and then there's another line called doubling down, saying, I don't care. And actually, on top, let's talk about that, his pathetic apology. He said earlier today, this is a load of crap. He says, "I'm sorry that my choice of language has offended some people in the UK and Europe and caused concern. But," as soon as he said "but," and actually as soon as he went for choice of language, I switched off anyway. He goes on to say, "But it is important to raise the issue of controlled and well-managed immigration that supports economic growth. My comments were made while answering questions about UK policy at the European Industry Summit in Antwerp, where I was discussing the importance of economic growth, jobs, skills and manufacturing in the UK. My intention was to stress the governments must change migration alongside investment in skills, industry and jobs so that long-term prosperity is shared by everyone. It is critical that we maintain an open debate on the challenges facing the UK." And this is what I'm saying, guys. Trying to dress up the conversation around immigration that there's something to be spoken about by it, versus putting out fake numbers, whether it's deliberately or ill-informed. In my opinion, when you're that ill-informed but have such strong opinions, I would say it's an agenda to drive what you believe anyway, and shows how the simplicity of the man, and the demeanor of the man. But if you're going to do that and use numbers to marginalize groups and use the word colonized in a way that he did, shows me that that's not a slip of the tongue. It shows me that's what he thinks. Okay, and I ain't budging on that. It shows me what he thinks, and I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the apology. People have been campaigning against Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe for a little while, actually. Most recently at the Fulham game where they, the 1958, and fans are like, want him removed from post before this come out. This is just intensified. I don't want somebody who has these ideologies, these values, representing our football club. Not even representing our football club, running our football club. And a penny for the thoughts of players. Another thing, for people who want to stick to football, just keep it to football. Just stick to football. Let's stick to football then. Our players. What do you think? What do you think Kobbie Mainoo thinks of that, about this? What do you think Kobbie Mainoo's parents think about this? Come over from Ghana. What do you think? What do you think Brian Mbeumo thinks about this? What do you think Patrick Dorgu and his family think about this? What do you think Mazraoui, who's Moroccan, thinks about this? What do you think other Bruno Fernandes, Portuguese, Brazilians? What do you think Mateus Cunha thinks about this? Take out the immigrants of our team. I'm challenging you to tell me what our team looks like. Take out the immigrants who support this football club, and tell me how big our football club is worldwide. Take out the immigrants who are staff, or are of immigrant descent, or people who have come or migrated to this country. Look at Omar Barada. I've been reading that he's of Moroccan descent, I believe. What are your thoughts then, if you want to stick to football? So listen, you lot know my thoughts on this. I don't think it's good to come on here shouting, cussing, swearing. We need to talk about it properly and articulate ourselves well to get the point across. And even that's not enough, because I've seen a lot of the comments today, and I'm not surprised by a lot of them. Big up to people that have, in my opinion, seen the other side to what I'm saying and can see why what Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said and done is wrong. And I hope that you see his apology, or I wouldn't even call it that statement that he put out, as a massive, two fingers as well. Let's be honest, because that's what it is. It's just so wrong. It's just so wrong. And listen, you get, some people have said to me, like, oh, would you consider, like, you just walk away from your club? You know what I mean? And listen, some people feel that strongly. Don't get twisted. Some people, I've spoken to some people, they're like, listen, I'm not going to United again. I'm not, while he's in charge, I'm not going again. I've seen some people say that. I've seen some people, I've spoken to some people like that. I've spoken to some people that have said from other clubs that if this was their club, they couldn't do it. Now, listen, I'm definitely not going to, come on here and start telling people to walk away from the club and this, that, and the other. What I will say is that I think of the people that we do support, which is the people that have put that statement out, the people who do the hard work to uphold the values of our club, who care about our club, the players who sign up to play for our club, and listen, get paid a vast amount of money to do so, but turn up to work every day trying to do their best and trying to do their job. Yes, we can criticize their performances, we can get onto them. I can't be bothered to do the footballing side, but you get the notion of that. And my opinion of it, as somebody who has immigration in my family and migration in my family, my thing is this, and this is what I said to one of my other friends who was like, nah, if that was my club, I'd walk away. I couldn't do it. I think personally, just being in the UK in general, if we adopted that stance in society, if you're not from this country, born, bred, and have just British blood running through your veins, whatever that means, we wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't have anything. We were all probably working at a place, or been at a place, or visited a place, or had an employer where you might not align with every single thing or every single person within that business, but you still have to turn up to work. You still have to get on with these people, or there's a lot good about it as well. And I just think, for me, I'm not trying to be in a position where I don't believe in sort of turning my back on the club, because I do think the club does stand for something. There's enough evidence that it does. This is just one rich, arrogant, ignorant individual who now has a lot of power at our football club that is perpetuating these ideologies. But let's get it right. He don't represent what this club stands for. That's my point. Do you know what I mean? And the club are trying to actually distance themselves from him, which is also counterproductive, because obviously the leader of the ship is him, who's saying stuff like this. So I get it. I'm not going to tell anyone not to do that, but I would just say, just think of what our club has stood for. Think of how multicultural our club actually is. Think of every supporter that you rub shoulders with that is coming from all kinds of races, colours, creeds, religions. Think about that. Think about the diverse playing group we've got, the diverse coaching staff we've got, the diverse club staff we've got, and that we've had since a very, very long time. Since a very, very, very long time. Of course, clubs move with the times, and as tensions have risen and dropped over the years, the club has reflected these types of things. Can't get away from that. But I'm still comfortable at what my club actually is supposed to stand for. I just don't think Sir Jim Ratcliffe, as the custodian of the club at the moment, along with the Glazers, stand for that, you know. But I believe Manchester United is bigger than them, so I won't be going anywhere. But I understand why some people are questioning that. Let me know what you guys think. It's not what we want to be talking about, but we have to. I will continue to do that. Hopefully, I don't know, this might be the end of it, but it's not in terms of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He's still going to be there. So we shall see, guys. Let me know what you guys are saying. I'm out of here. Take care. Peace.